So, Israel is in discussions with South Sudan about the possibility of resettling Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu endorses Trump's plan for, quote, voluntary migration to relocate much of Gaza's population. In an August 12th interview, he stated, quote, I think that the right thing to do, even according to the laws of war as I know them, is to allow the population to leave, and then you go in with all your might against the enemy who remains there, end quote. Now, just to be clear, what Israel is proposing is a crime against humanity. Full stop. This isn't a partisan issue. It's a matter of law, including the U.S. War Crimes Act of 1964, which applies if the offender or the victim is a U.S. national, a U.S. service member, or if the offender is simply present in the United States. That jurisdiction clearly covers the 200 to 400 Palestinian Americans living in Gaza. Now, you're probably asking, wait a minute, Chad, not to interrupt your discussion on Israel and Gaza, but doesn't the War Crimes Act apply to Vladimir Putin heading to the United States? And I say to you, random question asker, you're absolutely right. It does. But here we are with Donald Trump. Anyway, back to the Israel-Gaza situation. Under international criminal law, forcing civilians out of Gaza and across borders is deportation. It is a crime against humanity when done as part of a widespread or systematic attack on a civilian populace. The definition of forcible does not require it to be at the barrel of a gun. It includes coercion, bombardment, siege, starvation, cutting off water and power, blocking aid, and explicit or implicit threats that make staying untenable. Slapping the word voluntary on an exit offer while turning the place into a war zone is not consent, it's compulsion. Along with it being a crime against humanity, it's actually a war crime under the Fourth Geneva Convention. Occupying powers are flatly prohibited from deporting protected civilians from occupied territories to another country, regardless of the motive. The only narrow exception is a temporary, emphasis on temporary, evacuation for immediate safety or imperative military reasons, with strict safeguards, humane conditions, registration, and a genuine practical right of return as soon as the danger passes. Shipping civilians to a third country, stripping property, and foreclosing return is the opposite of protective evacuation and decidedly not temporary. This is demographic engineering by force. Dress the scheme up however you like. Humanitarian corridors, orderly migration, safe resettlement. The substance of the argument doesn't change. If the civilians choose to leave under shelling, siege, and deprivation, that choice is manufactured. If departure is organized at scale, coordinated by authorities, and paired with obstacles to return, the elements for crimes against humanity are met. If officials plan, order, facilitate, or publicly advocate the removal, individual criminal liability is then attached, not just to those who execute it, but to those who enable it: commanders, ministers, financiers, logisticians, and any third country that knowingly participates. The law here is not ambiguous. Deportation of protected persons is prohibited. Coercion voids consent. Temporary, reversible, truly protective evacuations are the exception, not a pretext for permanent expulsion. Pushing Palestinians to South Sudan would be illegal twice over: as a deportation, which is a crime against humanity, and as an unlawful deportation, which is a war crime. It would also invite parallel charges. It would be persecution if discriminatory intent is shown, property crimes if homes are seized, and inhuman treatment if conditions en route or at the destination are abusive. So Israel needs to stop treating these expulsion schemes as options. They are outlawed crimes. The remedy here is not just shipping these people off to a new destination country. It is protection in place, aid access, restraint in targeting, and binding guarantees of return. Not another forced exit with Israeli and American leaders high-fiving, calling it humanitarian. That is horseshit.